All right. So I said today I'll be using my mobile for today's class. So instead of making use of PC, we're making use of mobile. So this is what Canva actually looks like on your mobile device. Once you open the app, you have your for you have your social media, you have your presentation, you have videos. So you can swipe left and see all that you have under Canva. So basically, today's class is all about creating a social media post. So what you can do is you locate your social media, then you click on it. So once you click on your social media, you see you have this screen, which is your popular, your Instagram, your Facebook. So you can swipe left. You see quick create, Instagram post, Facebook post, Instagram story. You have your story, you have WhatsApp status, you have Facebook cover, you have Instagram reels. So really you can design a lot with Canva. So today what we want to design is actually a Instagram post. So you click on Instagram post. So once you click on it, you have this screen asking you, Abin Bola, welcome. So now once you click on your grade, it's asking you, is it blank or do you want to use any template? So for the purpose of this class, we'll be designing from scratch. We won't be using templates. So you click on blank. So it's loading. This is just a revision to what we did in yesterday's class. So I think this is internet issue. All right. So once it's done loading, you have your screen like this. What you want to do is you want to drag it down. So now this is your workspace, and inside your workspace you have like a grid showing you, telling you that let your design be inside this grid. So any design you want to create should be inside. Make sure your designs are inside. All your text, they should be inside this grid. I don't know if you can see the grid. Just let me know. Let me know. Respond like someone should give me feedback if you can see the grid that I'm trying to show. Let me try to zoom in my screen. Can you see the grid, the lines, like the dotted lines? Someone should give me a feedback so that I know you guys can see what I'm sharing. These dotted lines. Anybody giving me feedback? Okay. All right. So that's what you have. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'm not actually getting the feedback from you guys. All right. So what you want to do now is okay, Irene, thank you. Were you able to see the grid I was showing, the margin I was showing? I want to know that you guys are following me, so I'm not just talking to myself. All right, awesome. So the next thing we want to do right now is we want to click on this plus icon. So once you click on your plus icon, you want to add text. So this is your template. This is your element. It's loading. It's still loading. So now under your elements, you see line, frame, arrow, cycle, square, rectangle, arc, and a lot. Then you see recently used. Now, recently used is trying to tell you that what these are the elements you have used before. So if you are new to Canva, you won't have recently used in your own profile or yeah, in your elements. So the next thing is your lines and shapes. Then you have a lot of them. You have the cycle, you have the rectangle, the square, you have your triangle, you have your lines, and a lot. You have your stickers. You have your photos, you have your videos, you have audios, you have charts, you have tables, you have your frames. Now your frames allows you to put pictures into it. You have your grids, and I think that's all under the elements. So then you have your gallery. Please, someone should record. Someone should help us with the recording of today's class. Thank you. You have your gallery. It's loading. So your gallery consists of your pictures and your videos. It's loading. So these are your pictures and you have your videos, everything in your gallery. Then you have uploads. You have uploads. It's loading. So your upload, what your upload is about is the images you've uploaded to Canva, the videos you've uploaded to Canva. And this is the videos. So I think I've not uploaded any video, and the audios you have uploaded. So you can keep track of it. So it's easier for you to reuse them. Instead of going to search for them, you just come to your uploads, then you're able to reuse them. So these are the images I have uploaded to Canva. You can see everything here. So if I need to make use of any of them, I just come here. So it's easier and faster that way. So the next one you have is your text. So as a graphic designer, you need to actually type something for people to see. So this is where you do that. Now you can see add the heading, add a subheading, add a little bit of body text. So this is telling you these are font combinations that you can actually try. And we have what again? We have photos. So it's saying search photos pro. The other one we have element, but this one is just photos. So if you need any photo, just come here and search. So let's see an example. All right, so let's assume that we sell shoes and we want to create a design around shoe selling. So let's come to this. We are in photos already. So let's try to create our background. Let's look for shoes or something related to shoes. So you type it, shoes. Then you click on it, press enter. So it's searching. All right, so you have a lot of shoes. Now, pay attention to this. If you see there are some shoes that have background, you see these ones are pictures without background. They are called PNG images. Pictures without background, they are called PNG images. So these are PNG files, the ones without background. Why the ones with background, they are called JPEG. So all these are JPEG. JPEG. This orange shoe is PNG file. This one has a background. Is JPEG. 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 Okay, I'm back online. All right, so let's choose one of the shoes. Let's make use of, I want something with a background so we can work on background. Okay. All right. Okay, let's pick, I'm trying to look for one that will actually make sense. Still searching. All right, I think I love this. So let's pick this. So you select on it. Once you select on it, it appears on your workspace. that it appears on your workspace. Then the next thing, if you pay attention to my screen, you have 4 cardinal points, and that's up, this one up here in the middle, that's one, and this is two by the left hand side. Let me reduce my screen. And this is three by the right hand side, and this is fourth at the downside. Then you have these cardinal points. So what you do with the cardinal point is you use to drag out, drag in, or zoom in and zoom out your pictures. So that's it. So once we have our background, what we want to do now is we want our background to fit our screen. So what you do is you move to the left hand corner, or you can decide to go to your right hand corner, but because I use right, so I'm going to my left. It's much easier for me that way. Then you see a cycle. Let me try to zoom my screen so you can see what I'm saying. There is this cycle here at the bottom right corner. So I'm going to hold it and drag. I'm going to hold it and drag. So I'm going to hold it and drag. So once you are done, the idea is trying to make sure your image fits into your background perfectly. You keep dragging till you feel your image is okay. All right, so for me, it's okay this way, so I'm leaving it this way. All right, so the next thing you want to do now, you notice now, paying attention to what you have on your screen, you discovered that you have some other options beneath. You have replace, you have delete, you have duplicate, you have effects, you have filter, you have adjust, you have crop, you have flip, you have animate, you have transparency, you have position, you have nudge, etc. All right, so this is our background. So we've created our background. We are trying to create a fashion or a design that has to do with shoe selling. So we picked our background. Now in design, there are some principles of design. We have the principle of balance in design. We have the principle of hierarchy. We have the principle of contrast of hierarchy. So once we have this, now the next thing we want to do now is let's click on this plus icon. Yeah. So let's go to our elements. Select your elements. Then we want to add a shape. Now there is no design without a shape. So we want to add a shape to our design. I want to add rectangle. By the time you can see our lines. You see lines as shape. You see a cycle. You see a rectangle. So we are picking the rectangle. So you click on it. Now I want you to pay attention here. Once you click on your rectangle, you discover that it has a color automatically. Now, this color is gotten from your background. This color is related to this shoe here. So the next thing you want to do is you want to fit in your shape. You want your shape to cover your background. Then you drag left and right to cover your background. So now this leads to the next principle of design. Like I said, there is hierarchy. So you have this and you already have your background. So that means you want your background to show, but you don't want your background to be noisy. You don't want your background to be noisy. So what you do is, after placing this shape on your background, the next thing you do is you go to your transparency. Then you select your transparency. If you look at it, it is 100%. So you begin to reduce it till you feel it's okay with you. For me, I think the background is still noisy, so I want to reduce, still want to increase the transparency. So I feel is okay this way. Now, as a designer, you can decide what is okay for you and what is not okay. You are the creator. So I feel this is okay for me. Yes, at 94, it's okay for me. Then all you do next is you close it. So we've looked at transparency, we looked at all that things. So now the next thing we want to look at, let's assume we want to add a text. So we want to say buy at maybe 25% off. So let's assume we are designing for a promo, like a shoe seller offering a promo. So let's say 25% off. Okay, so the next thing you do again, you click on this plus icon, then you move to your text, then you click on add a heading or add a subheading or add a body text, either of the two. So either of the three. So let's click on add a subheading. So once you have that, you can see it's showing on your workspace already. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to increase the size. So you click on font size, then you drag forward to increase the size. Keep dragging. I think it's okay this way. Then the next thing you can also do with font is you can change the font itself. So I can decide to use another font. So currently the font I'm using is Mont. You can decide to use Lato. So let's see Lato. All right. So if you pay attention, you discovered that the text has changed. So let's see another font so that we can see the difference. Can you see? So it's changing. By the time you select a different font size, the shape, the feeling of the text will change. So let's leave it at this. So now the next thing we want to do is to actually change the text, since what we want is 25% off. That is what we want. So you click on edit. So once you click on edit, so it highlights everything and just zoom your screen so you can see what you're trying to edit. So you can do now is just type 25% off, 9%, 25%. So you can still increase the font size if you want. Yeah, let me chip in this. There are some fonts that don't allow symbols. For example, this particular font doesn't allow symbols, so that's why the percent is not showing. So that means all you need to do now is to change your font. So you click on this font, then let's go back to our Lato font. Now you can see our percent already. So still trying to figure out if there is another font we can use. Okay, let's pick this. Loading. All right. So we have our 25% already. Then the next thing we want to do is, since we want to write 25% off, so instead of typing your off from scratch, is you duplicate this particular text you have already. And how do you do that? You click on your duplicate. It's beside the font. Click on duplicate. So after that, the next thing you do is you move. All right. So as I'm moving, you can see some certain lines appearing on my screen. Now what this line is saying is, okay, this is perfectly aligned. That's the work of the line. So the next thing you want to do is you want to edit this to off. So then type off. Then what you can do here is you can reduce the font size, you can change the font color, and you can change the effect of the font. But for this class, what I'm doing is just to reduce the font size. Now, this leads to another principle of design. So in design, there is a principle called contrast. Meaning, when you are designing, you can decide to apply contrast to your design. And how do you apply contrast to your design? It's either through color or using a bold text with a thin text. So to show you what I mean by contrast, I'll change the font of this design. Let's use something light. I think it's not that obvious, so let's use another font. Okay, let's see Montserrat. Okay, let's see the 10 Montserrat. Okay, I think it's too light, so let's go with just Montserrat. Now you can see what I'm trying to say, contrast. So what you can do, the next thing you can do is you increase your font size. Increase your font size, then try to gel color. So right now, let's see where color is. So now you can see A and you can see color here. So you click on it to change your color. So you have from our background, these are the colors. These are background color. So you can pick a color from your background, or better still, you decide to pick your own default color. So all you can do is you come here, then you click here right there where you have the plus. Then you can decide. Now you have your swatches. So as you are dragging your swatches, the colors are changing. Color schemes are changing. They are changing. They are changing. They are changing. All right. So now this is where you want to pay attention. This is where you have to be good with color. Like, yeah, you really have to be good with color for you to be able to combine the colors. So let's go with red or something. Let's see if it should be, I think, okay. Yeah. So with now we just applied contrast to this design. But it's looking one kind because the color is kind of related to the background. So let's see what we can do. Now let's apply shape. think we've touched down on how to use pick photos. We've touched down on how to use shape, so and text and color. Now we are going back to shape. All your design is basically comprises of shape, text, pictures, and how you arrange them. All right, so let's add a shape to this design. Click on your plus icon, then you go to your elements. You click on your elements, then you select. If you can see, this is the shape we were using, or we are still using. So we are still going to click on the rectangle shape. All right. So the next thing you want to do here is you want to reduce the size of your rectangle. You want to reduce the size of your rectangle, and how you do that is if you pay attention, you see there is like a little rectangle up here along this line. Hold it, then drag it down. Drag it down. Look at your left corner and your right corner. In the middle of those corner, you see a small line again. You can hold it down and drag, then hold this and drag. Then the edge, which you can use to zoom in and zoom out, you can decide to reduce the size of it and increase the size a bit. Then you can reduce the size a bit also. So now the next thing you want to do is you want to arrange your off. You want to make sure that your off is actually seated well in the middle of your shape of your yellow rectangle. So you move your off. Move your off. Move your off. So you have something like this 25% off. So the next thing you want to do is you want to change the font of your off. Is looking weird, is looking awkward. So you can work on is change the font of your off to make it a bit bolder. So you can decide to go to your B where you have format. Now let's see what you can do with your format. You can decide to make it bold. You can decide to make it italics. You can decide to make it underlined. You can decide to make it all capital letter. So you just have to do to remove all those effects. You click again. I think I'm okay with making it italics and bolder. Now, if you want to, let me drag this up. If you want to maybe create a list, and on ordered list, you tap this, and if you want to create an ordered list where you have 1, 2, 3, you tap this. So right now, I think I'm okay with the feeling I'm having from this design. I think I'm okay with the feeling. So we have 25% off. But I think, yeah, I think it's okay. So okay, 25% off. So the next thing we want to do now, we want to add shoes. We want to add shoes to this image. But before that, let me give you a trick. Anytime you are designing and you are already having multiple elements in your design, when I mean elements, I'm talking about your text, your shape, your pictures. Whenever you are having multiple of them in your design and you still want to add more, it's best or is a best practice for you to group them together. How do you group them together? You long press the one you are trying to hold. So you long press on your 25%. Can you see? So you have copy, you have paste, you have select multiple. So you click on select multiple. So it's telling you there's a notification saying one, meaning you've selected just one element. So the next thing you want to do is you want to click on something else. You can see two, then you click till you make sure you've clicked on all the elements you want to group together. Then after that, swipe left, you see group, then you click on group. Now everything is together, so you can move it easily. Easily. All right, so we have 25% off. Then the next one to add is, so let's try to use frame. Let's see how frame works. So you go back to your plus element, your plus, you click on it. Then once you click on it, then you go swipe down to your elements. We're in our elements already. Then you swipe down to your frames. The next thing you want to do here is you want to click on see all. So you pick, you choose from your preferred frames. So for the purpose of this class, I think I want to use so let's make use of let's use the cycle frame. So you click on it. So we have the cycle already. Now you can decide to click on replace. By the time you click on replace, you're only limited to your gallery and to the pictures you've uploaded to Canva. So due to that reason, I'll be clicking on replace. I'll click back on my plus icon. As I click back on my plus icon, still in my elements, I click back. Then I can search for shoes. So let's search for shoes. Let's see shoes. So you click search. All right, so we have these. I explained what we mean by PNG images and JPEG. PNG are images without background, while your JPEG are images with background. So for the purpose of our shoes, let's go with something that has a background. Trying to search for one I love just to show it. So let's click on this lady's shoe. All right. So we have this lady's shoe. Okay. Now pay attention to this. Now we want to clip our image inside our frame. We want our image to appear inside our frame. So I'll do that again. All right, so we have it here like this. Okay, I think it's already worked. Okay, so what you want to do is drag it till your image is centered on the frame, so you can leave it. Then now we should have our shoe inside the frame. So now what you can do is you can decide to move your shoe and decide to move your shoe to wherever you want it to be. And decide to move it here and decide to move it here, depending on what you want it to be like. Okay, so the thing we want to cover is positioning. So now our frame and our image is covering our text, but we want our image to be sent under, that is backward. So what you do is you click on that image that you want to send backward, then you swipe left, keep swiping till you get to position. So by the time you get to position, the next thing you want to do is you click on position, then you see backward, you click on backward, So that's how you go about it. Click on your position and you send it backward. So we have these already. So that is how you, so if even if you want to send something forward, you go to your position and you select whether it's backward or forward you want to send the elements. So now we have our shoe image here and we have 25% off. So I think what else do we want to add? So let's assume we want to add maybe 25% off on every purchase. So you can start to drag this up. Now if you pay attention, you see that my text is within this line. So immediately my text is touching the edge of the line. It is showing this pink color. By the time it's leaving the edge, there's no longer pink color at the edge. So it's showing, okay, your text is about to go outside the grid or outside the frame. So it's back inside. So by using this, you can guide your designs to make sure it is centered. So let's say 25% off on every purchase. So the next thing you do again is you click your plus icon. So as you click your plus icon, then you go to your text. Then you click on add a subheading or add a little bit of body text depending on what you want to do. So now just imagine this is black on brown and it looks so difficult to read and the text size is so small. Now this is work of contrast. So by applying contrast means you are changing the color to something that will be readable on the background. So I think the color that will be readable on this background will be white. Let's see white. White is readable. Let's see yellow. Yellow is readable, but I think white is still the best, the perfect match. So the next thing you want to do is you want to edit. You want to edit. Now, what do you want to do now? So you say 25% off on every purchase. So you want to place it here, but you can still increase the size since you want people to be able to read it on every purchase. So you have 25%. Now let me explain something. I made mention of hierarchy. Now if you pay attention to this design, what you see a shoe, so that tells you, all right, this person is probably into shoe business. Then the next thing you see is 25% off. So that means, okay, this person is doing a promo. So that is our hierarchy. What hierarchy does, it controls what your viewer or what your audience is saying per time. So the first time they look at your design, their minds goes to the shoe, then probably the off. So that means they are seeing the shoe, then they are seeing the promo 25% off, and they are seeing the on every purchase. So now means your design is actually telling your client or your customer that you're actually doing a promo, and what I'm into is shoe selling. Now this is 25% off on every purchase. We have that already. So what you want to do again, let's assume that this offer ends for just 2 days, probably starting from May 2 till May 3. So what you want to do next is click on this on every purchase, then click on duplicate. You duplicate it. Once you duplicate it, you click on your edit, then you want to write, what's it called? So let's say May 2, May 2 to, let's say 3. Then you put a comma, then you put this 2022, put 2022. All right, so we have this. Now it doesn't make sense for it to be here because as a designer, most times you want to tell your audience or your clients what to feel. Yeah, you want to tell them what to feel, what to think. So you want them to see the urgency in what you're trying to pass across. So that means as they are seeing your 25% off, they are also seeing something that is telling them that this offer ends in a short period of time. So that means design as a designer, you're not just creating, you're also trying to tell a story. All right. So the next thing you do is now let's click again on this made to 3. Let's see what we can do. You can actually break your text just like you are typing on your phone or on your system. So you can decide to break it instead of making it big. And actually, the year won't be needed since it won't be needed. So you can just break it. So you have May 2 to 3. So you can try to just make it maybe second to third. So it looks more, carries more emphasis. May second to third, right? So the next thing you want to do now is let's try to reason where you want to put the next element. So I want to add a cycle to this image. Go to your elements, you clear your search. So it's loading. All right, so now you see your lines and shapes. So you can decide to, let's choose, you want to use cycle. So click on your cycle. Awesome. So we have it already. Now the cycle automatically picks one of the color that we already have on our design, and it decided to pick the yellow color. So what you want to do is you want to resize this cycle to something smaller so it doesn't cover 25%. Now there is another principle in design, and that is balance. So as you are creating your design, you always want to add balance to your design. You want your design to feel balanced, to look balanced. So what you can do from here is let's bring down our 25%. So you hold it down, then you click on select multiple, click something else, then I deselect this one, then I drag this down. So it's down already. I'm not grouping it, just selecting. So you select the yellow cycle, then you drag it here. So I'm trying to create balance. All right, I think we have it said. So if you like changing the color, let's change the color to something else. I think this is okay, or better still now, let me show you this. You click on your color where you have the plus icon. Now if you look carefully, you see this, like this, should I call it a pipette or a picker? There is, click on it. Then once you click on it, then you can click on any color from your design, then you click done. So that way we're able to change the color of our site, but I feel it's too close, looking too close to our background. So what I want to do is I want to reduce, yes. So yeah, I feel it's okay this way. So the next thing I want to do is select the date, move it here. Awesome. So far we've looked at images, we've looked at shapes, we've looked at text, we've looked at contrast, we've looked at color, we've looked at formatting our text, that is the bold, italics, underlining, uppercase and lowercase. Now I want to show us spacing, what we call spacing. So you click on spacing here, make sure you are selecting your text, then you click on spacing. Now we have letter space and we also have line space. So let's see, by the time you click, let's see what our letter spacing is all about. So that means there is space in between the text. So let's return it back to 0. Okay, 0. So now line spacing, let's see what's all about. That means that's a gap between two texts, up and down. So let's reduce it. I've done that. So the next thing we want to do is we want to make our text bolder. Then let's increase the font size a bit. I think it's cool this way. Yes, I feel it's cool this way. I think, yeah, I prefer it this way. So now we have this already. Now, so let's assume the owner of this design, let's assume the name of our brand, or our brand name is, let's just say, AJ Shoes. So let's assume we don't have the logo. Okay, let me use my logo. I have a logo, I think so. Go to your upload. Like I said earlier, I said upload is where you have tons of designs you've uploaded to Canva. So I'm searching one of my logo. Coming, trying to. Okay, I think, yeah, this is one of my logo. Yeah. Okay, so this is my logo. Let me use this opportunity to explain what the TM means. TM and R. A lot of people ask, what does TM means and what does R means? What's the difference? Now, both of them are, let me reduce this. Both are a trademark, but TM is free, which means you don't have to pay for it. While R means you've paid for that name. So that means that name belongs to you. Nobody has the rights to it. So TM simply means trademark. So then you find a convenient place to place the logo. So I'm placing the logo at my top right corner. So that's why I'm placing my logo, and I'm making sure my logo is not going outside my grid line. Now if you check well, you see a grid line. This is the grid line. See the grid line. So this is it. So the next thing we want to do, let me show you guys how to add icons, social media icons. So let me show you how to add social media icons. So to our design now, the next thing for us is to add our social media icon. So what you do next is you click on your plus again, this plus icon. You still go back to your elements. Then what we want to add is Instagram logo. So in your search, you type Instagram, then you put logo in front or icon, either of the two. So now you can see your Facebook logo, you can see your Instagram logo, you can see your Instagram logo and stuff like that. You can see Twitter, you can see TikTok, you can see a lot. So you decide you want to use. You are the creator, you are the creative, so you decide. So I'm picking this white IG logo. So it turns out it's black here. Now, question might be why the black or why the white? So you can change the color, click on color, change it into white. So you can reduce the size just by holding the edge, one of the edge, then you drag, you reduce till you feel it's okay, feel comfortable. So I'm dragging it to my left bottom corner. So like this, I've created balance in my design. There's balance in my design. So you might be asking, why not use the multicolored IG logo or icon? Actually, it depends on what you are trying to create, and it depends on what you are trying to do. Less is more. And most times you try to create contrast. So by the time you're using that red, it won't really come out because the color is kind of close to the brown we are using. So that's why I'm going for white. I think white is obvious. So the next thing we want to do is we want to write our IG name. So instead of clicking on the plus icon again, what you want to do is click on your every purchase, then you duplicate it, then you move. Now, let me zoom in so that I can see my screen. But once you select, you see we have two cycles. Inside one, we have like a navigator arrow. Then inside the other cycle, we have something like rotation. So the navigation arrow you need to move it, while the arrow that looks like the bent arrow, then you can use it to turn your stuff around 360 degree. And to turn it around. Alright. So what we want to do now is we want to edit this. Tap edit. You want to tap edit. Then you clear this. Then you put your art. Okay, this is my IG name.